Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Azaka here, bringing you another video for the for Conqueror's Blade, published by Porus Interactive and My Games. This is the update log for April 25th, and we have the normal maintenance time of 12:30 to 15:30 UTC plus 8, so roughly around about 3 hours maintenance time with a compensation of 8,000 bronze, 300 honor, and 15 unit medals. Same old, same old. So for the first event announcement, we have a special event for the Onimushas. So, um, kind of late. Not sure why they. I mean, again, it's great that there's more attires. I kind of like um, special attires that are really there to kind of show off particular units. And thematically, this is really nice because, again, the attire looks great. Though I must say, in game, it doesn't look as great. I think I think it's a little bit how to say rigid with the cloth physics, but I guess that can't be helped. Anyway, the event is called the Kusane Kagura event. So it's exclusive attire for the Onimushas. So I mean, like honestly, they could have also just made it a hero attire, and that would be lovely as well. Um, we are the incarnation of fox spirits. Perhaps after losing everything in war, that was the only answer these warriors could give. During the event period, acquire 1,000 Kusane mask via the Kusane sign-in gift available from April 25th. Maintenance to May 16th. Maintenance complete daily and weekly task of the Warden to earn 2,000 kunai, lasting from April 25th maintenance to May 9th maintenance. Accumulate 800 Kusane mask and 1,600 kunai during the event to exchange for rewards Lone Wolf unit attire. Surprised that they call it the Lone. I call it Lone Wolf, didn't I? Lone Fox unit attire. Um, I mean, it kind of makes sense at the same time it doesn't. The only kind of Kusanagi aspect is the mask itself, and obviously, like you don't have like random ass foxtails or normally for some reason like Kusanes are just like uh well long silver hair kind of thing because they kind of like do some moon thing. I'm not entirely sure on lore wise for these things, but that's normally how I would view it. They have a nice red attire, which is quite different from what I would expect for something like this. That being said, I mean like it's still Asian, so I mean like black hair is still quite Asian. There are also other rewards besides the Lone Fox unit attire. So you can get a epic schematic crate, 10 treaty times 10 artificial stones, greater scroll of glory. I believe this is the 5,000. So you get like half a level of the seasonal battle pass thing, and vault keys, etc. So there's a couple of other things as well by the looks of it. The event duration, access the event page until May 16 maintenance. Okay, so you can only get the kunais until May 9th, which ends uh, 3 weeks from now, but you only have 2 whole weeks. So you have 14-ish days to kind of complete this. I imagine that like you could probably get like hmm, the vast majority of the 2,000 is probably from the dailies. You would probably only be having to do a couple of these things for the weekly ones, but yeah. Anyway, we'll see. We'll see. We'll have to see what the rewards are in game. I do imagine that like the weekly ones probably have a much higher reward rate than the daily ones. And again, like these are actually pretty tough as well. So it definitely asking you to be in a team. So the Warden task overview goes for daily, win one battle or deploy Onimusha in any field or siege mode. Weekly, accumulate 1,200 kills in any mode of field or siege battle. Result can be shared with teammates in team mode. Two, accumulate 30 hero kills in any mode of field or siege. Results can be shared with teammates or team mode. Again, like this 31 is actually pretty difficult unless you're really good at killing heroes. I'd only get on a regular like two or three. So this would probably take me. Oh man, I'm being generous as well. I can kill two or three people, but it's just like um it's still a lot of battles. I'd probably be very exhausted if I was just to focus on hero kills. And then the A plus rating or higher for 30 times in any mode of field or siege battle can be shared among teammates. 30 again is pretty taxing. Again, within a week as well, you have to have a pretty high performance. A plus ranking, they make it harder and harder each time, and it's not exactly easy, but it's not exactly difficult either. Like I can consistently get a B plus ranking if I just used meta units, I could easily get S or A plus ranking, at least at least an A easily if I just used meta units. But the fact that I don't and I can only get like a B rating is kind of sad, considering that like just beating up my units can get me a B rating. But yeah, regardless of that, getting good teammates will obviously make this go really fast, and it's just a chore. It is basically free, so don't get me wrong here that this event is kind of being generous. At the same time, you still need to put some effort into playing the game. So if you got some friends or you can get some teammates, yeah, it'll be fine. Obviously, the task duration goes from April 25th maintenance to May 9th midnight, so only those 2 weeks starting tomorrow, so about 14 days. Wow, that's really weekly task resets every Thursday at midnight, so that makes sense. If it was on Monday, that would be really strange because, I mean, if it was on Monday, that would be really cool because you would have technically three, three opportunities to complete these things. I mean, three you can complete these 3 times. This one will be very easy. I mean, like that's like 20 battles. 60, I get like an average of 60. If I'm lucky, I can get like 100 odd. But yeah, 60 is not normally what I'm sitting at for like unit kills. Hero kills, 2 or 3, if I've got a quite average battle. And I like that they kind of. I don't. Sorry, what I meant to say. They used to have a bronze and a silver variant of this thing, and I'm kind of disappointed they didn't bring it back for this, but I also understand that like they need people to purchase or like buy stuff. And um it's upsetting, but what can you do? It totally makes sense that obviously they would have a paid way. And again, like it makes sense. Like if you could just give us the opportunity to buy cool stuff, we would. Um so sure. I'm okay with the special offer package for the Lone Fox chest. I keep saying wolf. I don't know why, even though I'm reading it right there. It says fox. Guaranteed to obtain a certain quantity of Kusane mask and kunais. Chance to obtain legendary artillery component bound and optimal divine crow bound. For every 10 openings, you will definitely obtain optimal divine crow 1. So each divine crow is 1,000 sovereigns. I'm going to be quite honest when I say the Divine Crow should be removed because it's the most cancerous artillery. I don't mind getting hit by um, flaming comets, war rockets. This cancer This cancerous artillery is way worse, and its sheer availability is also just asinine. I mean, like a great bombard that's so rare that fine, let it just one shot an entire army. It's funny, but this divine crow is the bane of existence. It puts down a fire zone which melts everything. If you get hit with the crow itself, that's like 2,500 damage, and and you can get hit by all three of them. I was unlucky one time. I got hit by all three of them, and I think I got headshotted by one of them, and it was just super annoying because it can go from knocking you back, knocking you down, to throwing you. I think something like that. I have no idea why it does that, but yeah. Sale period obviously goes from May 25th. Oh, wait, sorry. It goes from May 25th to May 16th before maintenance. So you have up until the UI thing disappears to purchase this thing. It kind of makes sense. Obviously, you have to open them in order for it to work properly, even though you can buy them, but it would be pointless to use them after this time because the Kusanagi mask and the kunais would just be worthless for you. Oh man, I knew something was coming. I knew something was coming. So Doctrine Pull Rotation, Flying Meteor, Ancient Battlefield available for a limited time. New Doctrine, Tactic, Trench Warfare. When the Arquebus units are not under the move command, they will gain defensive works after 10 seconds. Defensive works cannot be stacked. Non-move commands will reset the timer, will not remove. Non-move commands will reset the timer. Okay, okay, so what they want to say is non-movement commands will reset timer. Okay, sorry. Non-move commands will reset timer, but will not remove defensive works. So not under the movement commands will gain 10 defensive works after 10 seconds. So if you use a non-movement command, they will reset this 10 seconds, but if they have defensive works, they will keep defensive works. Any movement commands will remove defensive works, and it's just like that incomplete sentence is just really super annoying. Anyway, the actual effect is defensive fortification. Wow, great. I love this. They have defensive works, but then it says defensive fortifications. I believe it's supposed to be defensive works, but it's defensive fortifications. Yeah, so let's keep reading. Receive protection from defensive fortifications when receiving range damage from units. Eliminate defensive fortifications and convert 70% of the received range damage into knockback effect. Applicable unit. Aqua's unit. Okay, so basically, this gives them a this basically lets them trade with other ranged units. After 10 seconds, receive 70% a one-time 70% range damage reduction that causes a knockback on hit to the unit itself. That okay, so I'm assuming that the knockback effect is there so that it forces a move to cancel out the defensive fortification kind of thing. So that's kind of strange. Um, I don't know why they would have that knockback effect. I think defensive fortifications by itself would have been fine. I also think that 10 seconds is a long ass time. If this doctrine was to be balanced to a usable, and I say usable, but like no bloody Aquas unit is going to be standing there for 10 seconds. Besides something like Actually, no. A good example is Imperial Arquebusiers who stay in their firing line. So getting shot at by them would also be really good. Janissaries also really good because of their setup thing. Once they're set up, they'll just keep firing until they die because they're really difficult to move. So I think Imperial Arquebusiers and the Janissaries are probably two of the best units to put this on. Every other Aqua's unit with just like moving is just a better option. So I think defensive works is again really lame because it's 10 whole seconds. It's not a very good doctrine. And it's okay, I guess. It's just it's not great. I'm happy that like they're not giving us a doctrine that just straight up just ruins or just straight up is OP. Like it's cool because we also had the melee that melee cavalry one that while sprint is active doubles their double the melee attack damage or something. That was a nice one. I think they could have just given it that to all cavalry. Or like melee and lance cavalry would be nice. Actually, no. Give it to the bow cavalry. I would love it on the bow cavalry. Sprint ability, be amazing, absolutely amazing. Um, Thunderstrike attire chest returns, so they're swapping out the pike one with the Thunderstrike blade. Lightning affecting, cool. I do think I do think the effects looked very cool. If everyone had some, it'd just be too much flashing. If you could turn off other people's effects or turn off other people's attires, that would be great. I think not having that option is kind of weird. Not kind of weird, but like I wish they had that option. Had the ability to turn off other people's attires, other people's visual effects, so you wouldn't just be getting styled on by like a dozen gold. Like it was really funny because I actually ran into two people that had the golden band, the golden spear thing, and they just both whirlwind me, and all I could see is just paper flying around me, and I'm just like, oh my god, this is too much. Um, this so the legendary dual blade weapon attire Thunderstrike will also be in the seasonal store. The exchange price for 300 treasure essence. Again, if you can even get 300 treasure essence, I think I only have like 180 from all of my time, and I think I actually put some effort into like getting some treasure essence at some point. So this will go from the 25th to the 23rd of May. So 25th of April to the 23rd of May. So you got about 4 weeks or something. Long time, long time. Now we expected this from last week when we got like the announcements. It's a bit late. I don't blame them if they take more time figuring out unit masteries, but I am still disappointed that what they came out with is trash. Straight up trash. It doesn't help the unit, it doesn't fix the unit, it just straight up just like really bad in terms of getting the unit to a usable level. But I'm super subjective on how to say balance in the first place, and I really wanted Iron Cat Bow Riders to kind of be in the meta again, even though after their first rework they were a menace that they had to nerf, and it was just really bad as well. It's just like they should have just left the Iron Cat Bow Riders strong, but I don't know. They messed with the fire rate. They messed with how they aim and shot. So they have a much lower performance now in comparison to like before. Used to just used to just pump out damage like a crazy amount of damage. But now, I actually have the thing from Alan. Their total damage output puts them actually at the bottom of the tier twos. Wow. At the bottom of the tier twos. Not even better than Demez Crossbowmen. Then again, like it's actually quite impressive that they're really close to the performance of Demez Crosswomen, even though they only have what was it like 22 models in comparison to like Demez Crosswomen's 36. And obviously, Baby is just refusing to go to sleep and doesn't want to be trapped in a room. So if you're hearing that in the background, I'm sorry, but yeah. So let's read out the unit masteries from the ICAP Row Riders and see if they've actually changed anything. I hope they have fixed the range issue. Not getting that plus range is, even on the statistic thing, even if it does work in game, the fact that it's not showing up on the statistic thing is kind of disappointing. But yeah. So mastery effect at each stage is level 1, you get range plus 8. Armor piercing damage 90 points. So you get 90 pen. I really wish that they just let them just have penetration damage, since all of the bows have been increased by like at least 200 points. So this should be at least 300 points. Otherwise, they should increase the base amount. Level 3, you get range plus 8 again, so that's 16 points. It should result in something like an 8 increase. So you should have, and I say should, in game, if you have all the honor nodes and all of the top line, if you get the top line one, you should have 73 range on these Iron Bow Riders. Piercing damage increased by 100 points, pretty good, something like a 7% increase. Um, we also grant 10 ammo as a reward each time an enemy is defeated. I wish this was increased to 20, because just the number of shots in order to kill something is actually really, really, really high. Um, these guys are dealing anywhere between um, probably as low as 900 to probably as high as about 1200 damage against like tier 4, tier 5 stuff. So, and I say tier 4, tier 5 stuff, like it is where the meta is. It is where we are looking at. If you can't compete in the tier 4 or tier 5 category, you're just not worth it. You're just not worth it at all. So, increased damage to infantry by 150. Again, like I already explained before, it was a translation mistake in the first time when we saw it. It wasn't an increase of 150% against infantry. It was just a flat 150. Um, I wish I wish they just get rid of this line. I don't like the fact that it's just another cavalry that's good against infantry. I dislike the fact that these kinds of things exist. I really, really hate it. I don't like any of the reduced damage against a particular type. I don't like the increased damage against a particular type. I just wish that they had mechanics, had stats. Just give them an actual bow. Just give them an actual give them actual penetration. Give them actual damage. Don't give me these hidden bonuses that I have that that I will have no idea whether or not they're infect or not, or um, have to adjust against particular targets. Like, it is very one-sided when I only have bonuses against a particular type of unit and I can barely deal with anything else. While double shot is in effect, I think it's called combo shot on live, but they call it double shot here, which is because it was originally called double shot, but basically it doubles the fire rate. I think it still doubles the fire rate, and what's your face calls it. There's no drawback of it. But anyway, while double shot is in effect, increased damage dealt by 200 points. I do think that's a flat effect. B double effect, I think it's supposed to be the harass effect is doubled. Um, Still unsure about whether or not the of doubling effect refers to the bleed effect or the armor shred effect. If it doubles the armor shred effect, it goes from 250 max. Well, it's 50 per stack up to 5 times, which gives you a maximum of 250. But if it doubles this effect, it goes to 100 per stack up to 500. So this would basically half the armor of basically any of their targets, which is pretty big. And it says when triggered, 10% max health is restored within 3 seconds. But again, when testing, this would only trigger properly when the bleed effect hits, but it would only work for the cavalry that triggered the effect. So if a whole bunch of them shot, the fifth one to hit would have triggered the effect, and he would have got the max health increase. Even if this was set to 100%, you would still be able to one-shot the entire unit. And that's the kind of reality that we live in, is that the Iron Bow Riders are so squishy that regular range units, even in same tier, would completely body them. Upper tier ones would just smash them so fast that they would never be able to survive, even if this 10% maximum health restoration was on the entire time. And again, this is only about 500. 500 because they only have about 5k, 5 plus about a bit higher than 5k health. And I mean, just put it in like perspective. There's 3% on Men at Arms actually turns out to be something like 300 odd health. So it's not actually that much higher. I honestly do think that just from the squishiness of the Iron Bow Riders, that the effect needs to be easier to trigger or have a much higher effect. But that's just me. The fact that they didn't change anything for the Iron Bow Riders makes me feel like they don't want the Iron Bow Riders to get any to be meta, even though the Iron Scouts got an ability that literally just makes them charge 3 times. Even if they don't charge 3 times, the fact that they basically in stay in the charging state throughout the ability makes them such a hassle to deal with. Prefecture Heavy Cavalry Mastery. I talked about this at length the last time, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit here, but I still think that even if they could get that level 8 easier, they would still be really weak because they simply just do not have the same kind of strength that other units have. Again, this is a tier 4 unit, but is completely eclipsed by a tier 2 unit. Ironcap Scouts do what Prefecture Heavy Cavalry does, but better. And that's really worrying because looking at the mastery again, it feels like they don't know what to do with Heavy Prefecture Cavalry to get them to a level where they're not just super OP, but stay in the niche. And I don't like the fact that they have to stay in this niche. No one's going to use them in the niche because why would you keep them in this niche when you have a unit that does what they can do, but better? Okay, so the fact that they have an introduction. Oh, okay, they actually have an introduction here as well. So the introduction for Ironcat Bow Riders increased mobility. Increased mobility. They don't have mobility increases and skill utilization increase and skill. So they increased the skill utilization benefits for Ironcat Bow Riders, which was literally just for the double shot effect, but no increased mobility. So again, they're still stupidly easy to kill, allowing them to effectively interfere with the center of the battlefield in a relatively safe manner. Nah, this is factually false. Units are so fast right now that bow riders, relatively low range, and I mean relatively low range, puts them in danger constantly. Also, their unreliable damage output puts them at such a terrible, terrible performance that You may as well just bring a tier 2 ranged unit, run them up to the front line, and just shoot the hell out of the enemy in hopes to do better than the bow riders. And you most of the time you will, even if people start attacking you. Still, I hate this. I hate this introduction because it's just like the mastery doesn't reflect this introduction, and it's just don't play the units. They don't understand the current battlefield, and I really dislike listening to stuff that just it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't correlate properly with reality for me. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Iron Cabo Riders are actually hypermobile and easily stay out of range or stay at relative safety on the battlefield. I don't think so. Unless you're playing like field battles all the time. Even on field battles, nearly every cavalry will just charge your face and they would easily just wipe your ass. Like melee cavalry would just run at you and you would lose your unit. Lance cavalry could run at you and just corner you to a point where once they start charging, your entire unit is gone. Hell, the new cavalry runs so damn fast in Swift as Lightning, they could activate that charge even if they missed. They just X on top of your unit and you cannot outrun them. And I say cannot outrun them because I've tried. Because it is way easier to have them attack your unit than run away run away from them. I've used sprint, and I mean maybe I wasn't far enough away, or I didn't see them excel. Oh, they got too close to me to be in the danger zone. But it's just like I couldn't outrun those cavalry, and I should be able to. They're heavy cavalry, but they run faster than some melee cavalry. So I just think it's redonkulous how fast those guys move. All right, time to actually get onto the prefecture heavy cavalry. I kind of like delayed this, so I'll try to just speed it up. Enhance the effectiveness of heavy prefecture cavalry breakthrough skill and ability to counter long range attacks. Strengthen their survival capabilities for prolonged combat. Increase slashing damage by 80 points, increase piercing defense by 60 points, increase slashing armor penetration by 100 points, increase health by 390 points, reduce breakthrough cooldown by 50%. While breakthrough and charge are in effect, each range attack taken will grant 0.2 seconds of immunity to control, reduce range damage taken by 300, increase damage against all ranged units by 300 points. Each time an enemy soldier is killed, max health and damage are increased by 20% and 10% respectively. Again, they don't have it there, but I think I know what they mean. This effect is stackable up to 5 times. The effect is lost when the unit dies or retreats. Obviously, if the unit dies, it doesn't have the effect anymore. If it retreats, it resets. That makes sense. Now, still, you have this problem where you need to kill 5 units in order to get the maximum effect of this to get the maximum effect of this buff. Now, there has been a massive change from what we had before and what we have now. Mainly, the damage is decreased from 100% to 50%. I think this is a huge miss because the damage increase was the one thing that was the saving grace of this mastery. Removing that now puts this even lower to the extent that even if they could get this ability to stack, they would still be worthless. At a 50% increase, these, like, heavy prefecture cavalry are still just not going to work out because the damage output is so minuscule in comparison to the Iron Cap scouts, and the usability of these guys is so difficult that like these guys run really fast. They have the highest base speed in the game. It's 14, by the way. Breakthrough is a very powerful ability, but it only has a hit limit of 2. I think it increases to 3. I think it increases to 3 when you go top line. And that's not great considering that charge basically has an unlimited hit limit or it hits a certain number of units every second or every reset of the hitbox. And I'm not sure what to say to this. It's just like I understand that like 100% increase in damage was just ridiculous, but you also have to put it into perspective that a melee cavalry charge is not actually that threatening. Most unit like put this in your head. Melee cavalry charges are blockable. If you just simply block the attack, you won't get killed. I've had issues with trying to use I've had issues back in the day trying to use Iron Cap Scout charge to kill a bunch of Prefecture Guard. You know what the Prefecture Guards did? They just slaughtered my Iron Cap Scouts. I've had issues using charge into shield units and absolutely doing no damage. I've had to run around and hit them from behind. Breakthrough works way better because like you can constantly just keep going, but charge is such a difficult setup even though it's a very powerful ability. And obviously if you get knocked out of it, it bloody hurts. Now, I do like that they're trying to get breakthrough in the thing, but you should just strengthen breakthrough. Double, triple, make its hit limit unlimited at this point. Just make them able to charge perpetually. They will slaughter everything. Don't give us this crap where a buff, they'll need to kill something in order to get a maximum health increase, a damage increase. Like, this buff is both completely OP and completely worthless. Like, if you had the same buff, but instead increase the maximum health by 100% and increase the maximum damage by 100% and it stacks up to 5 times and put it on serfs, it's trash. Because the base unit is so weak that you will never be able to stack this effect to maximum effect on all. You do mind that this is a unit of 21. You would need to kill a minimum of 105 units in order to get the entire unit fully stacked. But the reality is that there's no way you would be able to do that. You are going to get, on average, 30 kills. You are not even going to be able to half stack. You would only be able to get 1 or 2 stacks. At most. At most. You would have to be super stingy, never swap out your unit, and it like this can be strong. This can be good. It's just terrible though. It's just awful. The requirements are too difficult. The buff is too weak, and the unit itself is weak. And I don't want to belabor a point, but like, it's a cool unit. It's got some really cool stuff. It can be strong, but given the situation with how strong other units are and how easy they are to use, heavy prefecture cavalry are not going to hit a threshold where they start being usable again. They're outclassed by other cavalry. Every single lance cavalry, most of the special cavalry outclasses heavy prefecture cavalry. The one thing that could have made this unit really good is countering other cavalry. It can already counter ranged unit. Countering ranged unit is a given. It doesn't need to double down on countering ranged units. But that's my opinion. If you guys got a different one, fine by me. But both of these masteries was a waste of time. Absolute waste of time. Neither of these masteries are strong enough to get these guys back in. To Neither of these masteries will make it so that people actually pick these units up. will actually have fun with the units. Maybe prefecture heavy cavalry, people will have fun with it in a very obscure way. So what I mean is that they'll pick easy targets. So they'll come out, sally if they're the defenders, they'll sally out with heavy prefecture cavalries, hit a bunch of serfs, and they'll have a superpowered cavalry running around, very difficult to kill, and only aim for things that can't do much to the heavy cavalry, and it would just be slaughtering basically serfs. You will very rarely be able to flank properly because it will either be something that is meta, which will just wipe the floor with you, or it could be a ranged unit, which you would have been able to kill with any other cavalry and the old heavy prefecture cavalry anyway. So it doesn't change the unit to have a better to meet a threshold that will get them back into the game, and it just doesn't allow them to do anything that they can't already do. Maybe you'll get situations where, oh, maybe I'll beat up some of the units that were already really stupidly weak against cavalry. Like, I've had issues with against heavy prefecture cavalries when I'm running around with some of my infantry. Varangian guards, for instance, can't hit anything for shit. Um, Scyldars as well, can't hit anything for shit. Nearly every single small shield one, unless I can direct a charge straight into their face, I cannot hit these guys. I cannot hit these guys properly. So I don't like it. I just don't like that they don't fix anything or they don't change anything fundamentally. They just keep the same thing, throw some stuff at it, and hopes it sticks. They don't solve. They're not trying to make the units better. They're not trying to create a new balance point. They're just throwing stuff at us and thinking and making it and make us think that it's good for the game. It's not. Just simply not. Event item retrieval. At the end of Fortune Bounty event, flying feathers will be reclaimed at 300 silver coins each. At the end of the Silver Spring event, flower ribbons will be reclaimed at 50 bronze coins each. Other bug fixes, optimizations, fix the issue of camel lancers showing abnormal models in the world map, fix the bug in the siege battle map Valley Fortress where players contending for their base had a chance to spawn near the base flag. Oh, okay. So this probably has to do with a okay, so there is a very particular. I don't think this happens a lot, but there is a very particular weird bug where the default spawn position for defenders is basically right next to their final point. If the enemy has taken A and B, but not C. Now, what this bug entails is when the C point gets captured and there's people still spawning in. Now, you can still. What happens here is that if the C point gets captured and you haven't spawned in yet, you can spawn directly onto your base point still, instead of being force spawned into the other in instead of being force spawned to the other respawns place. This is a very rare bug, but it does happen. I mean, I've experienced this once or twice myself, and it was really annoying because sometimes the enemy just rolls straight in and I just get my face wrecked. But it's actually sometimes helpful as well. Now, I find this next part really funny. Well, number four really funny, but fix the incorrect display of unit icons in some PvE stage. Settlement interface, optimize the description of the Zhuangjia heavy cavalry officious doctrine, making it consistent with its actual effect. I don't know which one it's referring to, but I think it might be It's really funny because I think it might be referring to the 400 block break, 400 block break increase for weapon veteran. But for some reason, my game has decided to say that while they're using weapon veteran, they get 400 block. So who knows? I do understand that the Zhuangzi cavalry, heavy cavalry, don't need more. Doesn't need any more block. Doesn't need any more block break. Sorry. If you give them block, they'd just be more OP than they already are. And I don't particularly like the fact that the cavalry is really strong. I really do like the cavalry, but I hate the fact that it's super OP. Like it's super OP, but it's so fun. Like it's so fun, not because it's strong, but because of how it's designed, the kind of new mechanics it has, and just the really cool stuff. Like the thing about them is just insane because you activate any of their abilities and you can move them around and they stay in their abilities. And that's really cool because you can charge at one place and then have them move to another place and they're still charging. They charge for 12 seconds, and that is amazing. Weapon veteran as well. Whack, 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 whack. And they can do it twice, I think. Whack, 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 whack. And they'll just slaughter infantry. I think pressing attack and using the weapon veteran is actually so much better than Xing them around because they have some of the best attack UI, some of the most aggressive and most bullshit attack AI I've ever seen. Not to mention, while they're in Swift as Lightning, they have just bullshit speed, bullshit acceleration. Like these guys go from 100 to 0 with like in 2 seconds. In 2 seconds. There's not very many cavalry in this game that moves that fast and have that high of acceleration. Like melee cavalry, you're getting this is like melee cavalry level of acceleration and speed. Lance cavalry do not move this fast. Lance cavalry do not turn this fast. They shouldn't be. This is a special cavalry, but this special cavalry is basically like if you had Keshiks on steroids, and sorry, they are Keshiks on steroids. They are Keshiks on steroids. They have a better attack range. They basically do the same thing, or conceptually, because like when you have the return charge, they just keep charging until they reach you, or for like the whole for the whole duration. I think it's like 10 seconds or something. And again, the saber thing, you put them on attack mode, and it does the exact same thing. They all concentrate on on a few units, but they'll swipe at everything around them. Anyway, I've been ranting a lot about balance, and as you can see, I am barely pissed at the almost refusal to change the status quo of just how much how much the balance had just been tacked on with just layers and layers and layers of muck. Because you could have a great game if you just fixed if you just redo your fundamentals. Units don't need to have all of these effects. Units don't need to have special abilities that are paragraphs long. You just need them to have a purpose. You need to have them a theme. Like you can you can make unique units and they can be simply just another sword and shield unit. We have so many swords and shield units, but people are not satisfied. They want more swords and shield units. Maybe we don't know what we want either. I just want to get out and away from all of this special ability nonsense. How they're just now it's becoming such a low cooldown that if the unit's not in a special state, then what is it doing? It basically dead meat. That's why I was disappointed with the Wu Wei Mansion Guards. I wanted people to use the overwhelming state that they have. It's a really cool basic attack. It's a really cool basic attack state. It's really strong as well. It would, if you had a basic attack fight with basically all the units in the game, the only unit that had even a chance of beating up the Wu Wei Mansion Guards with basic attacks is something like Iron Reapers. Maybe Zweihanders. Zweihanders are quite notorious with their strange basic attacks that hit really hard and just hit and deals damage before they finish the animation. But I also just feel like abilities are too strong. Like their basic attack only deals like 1200 damage to like I don't know, two or three guys maybe. This is while they're in their overwhelming state. And they have cool double attacks animations. I think they have a double attack animation and a triple attack animation. It's where they do like when not in the overwhelming state, when they're in the normal state, they might do a triple stab or something. In their overwhelming state, they kind of do a swipe left and right. It's pretty big. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy this video. Do you like the upcoming exclusive unit attire? I think this could have been a hero attire as well. I think it would be more preferable if it was a hero attire. That being said, where is that video? Let's go check out that video real quick. If it wants to load. Boo-doo, boo-doo. Yeah. Concept art, great. This came out amazing. Looks okay. Looks okay. And then you actually look at the video and it looks super stiff. I also think because they're not moving, I mean, the general pose just makes how short the skirts are a little bit gratuitous. Like, it's unnecessarily short, and it looks worse because you look at the charging animation and they look so weird. And as you can tell, the stiff part here is like this is definitely supposed to be separate, but it's like basically between the link hands. So disappointed that it doesn't portray the actual attire better. For exclusive attires like this, I think they should put more effort into the visuals rather than just giving them like whatever skin. Not gonna say that it doesn't look great. I think they could have just done better. But for what CB's worth, it's still a nice skin. I don't I don't doubt that like unit exclusive skins shouldn't come back. I think unit exclusive skins are really good, like really good, because it allows for very particular themes to pop up. You could have an entire series of entire series of skins just for like certain styles. Or I mean like imagine just imagine the elite skins, the elite attires or for some like of the older units, but as like exclusive unit attires. I want that. I want that kind of back. The Medal skin, I really like. It's got a weapon skin as well. Like weapon skins, give me that. Weapon skins so cool. Except for the weapon skin for the Medals, they flip the blade incorrectly in a couple of their animations, and it's when you watch it, it's so bad when you notice it. But if you don't pay attention to it, it's fine. I also think that the one for the Mamilones is really cool, but that just because it makes them look more Roman in that aspect. But regardless, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. That'll be all for me for now. So, other than that, my name's Azuka. Have a nice day. Bye for now.